Okay, I got a story for you. Are you ready? I used to be a sugaraholic. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I'm 54 now, and in my 20s, I loved sugar. I ate sugar all the time. I could not get rid of sugar. And then one day, I realized that it was controlling me, and I wanted to give it up. And so let me tell you what I did, and let me tell you how I did it, and let me tell you what the result was and how I've never gone back since having that awareness 30 years ago, that I needed to stop letting sugar control me and that I wanted to be able to have a different relationship with sugar. So on this video, we're going to dive into what happens to your body when you give up sugar. So I hope, I know I hear it from a lot of you. I hope that you find this really helpful for those of you who are just wanting to have better results with your health and sugar is a hurdle. So let's dive in and let's fix this for you. Okay, for starters, here's the biggest problem with sugar. It is a dopamine rush. We live in a dopamine saturated world. And one of the things we know is that when we are on these big highs with dopamine, that there becomes this moment where we can never feel happy because dopamine is the molecule of more. It is not the molecule of enough. So what dopamine does is it pulls you to something, you get a dopamine hit, and then you want to go after it again. So whether it's social media, whether it's a text on your phone, whether it's the ability to have DoorDash or some car service bring you food right at your front door, we are so dopamine saturated. And what happens with sugar, and I really, for those of you that are sugar addicted, I want you to think this through for a moment. You crave that sugar. And while you are literally in your brain thinking, I'm going to go get some sugar, the dopamine's already kicked in. The dopamine is like, yeah, you have a chocolate bar in the pantry, go get it. And the minute you're like, yep, I'm gonna go get it, the dopamine starts. And you haven't even put it in your mouth. And you're walking towards the chocolate bar, you get the chocolate bar, you eat it, and now all of a sudden you get this massive dopamine spike, you feel amazing, and then guess what it does to you? Your body goes, let's do that again. It is never satisfied. And the higher the sugar content, the more you are going to crave it. Full transparency, you want to know what one of my favorite desserts is? Red licorice. I literally used to go to the movies all the time and red licorice. I even take the ends and I drank, check this out, in my 20s, I took these red licorice and I'd bite the end of each one and I'd use it as a straw in my Diet Coke. Now, I want to tell you, I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now. I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I wasn't as happy as I am now. Like I crashed every afternoon at 3 in the afternoon. So this dopamine rich experience at the movies was not serving the rest of my day, of the time of my 24-hour cycle. So I get it. I get the desire for sugar, but I also got to a point where I was never able to be fulfilled when I went down a sugar path. Okay, second thing, when you are eating sugar, it puts you not only on this dopamine roller coaster, but on a blood sugar roller coaster. So you're getting this really high spike and then a crash, and then a really high spike and then a crash. That's a major problem because you eat it, your dopamine brain is like, give me more. You might be like, well, I don't have time to give you more. And then an hour later, you're like, oh my God, if I don't eat, I'm going to kill somebody. And your moods go with this. When you're on these roller coaster, blood sugar roller coaster, you're happy, you're sad, you see possibility, you're irritable, your moods are all over that place. And if you're a perimenopause or a postmenopausal woman, oh my God, like add some depletion of hormones with a sugar roller coaster and you're not going to be a very fun person to be around. So it will increase hunger and it will increase the erratic potential, I'll put it that way, the erratic potential of your moods. So the reason I want you to try what I'm calling a 7-day sugar challenge here is that because what I want you to see is that you will be happier. Maybe not in the beginning. We'll talk about that in a moment. Your moods will be better. Your blood sugar will be more stable. You will have more energy. Here's the 7-day challenge. I want you for 7 days to take sugar completely out of your diet. Now, if that sounds horrible, here's what I want you to know. I have coached literally hundreds of thousands of people through the process of changing their eating habits. And I will tell you that the first 3 days are the hardest. So you got to just say, I'm not going to eat sugar, and the first 3 days are going to be brutal. Now, I can tell you when I was giving up my sugar addiction, when I would want to go back to sugar, my brain would always say, okay, I want that cupcake. I want that piece of cake. I want that red licorice. But do I want the 3 days of having to extreme discipline to get through the cravings that are going to come from me eating that? And I realized I didn't after a while. I didn't want that 3 days of agony, and it was the thing that stopped me from going to sugar. So if this 7-day challenge is going to be new to you, I'm just going to say, know that the first 3 days will be hard, and then after that it gets easier. Observe in the 7 days. What I want you to do is observe your moods. That's the first thing to note here. How do you feel after 7 days? Are you more stable in your thoughts? Are you more stable in your emotions? Report back. Let me know. Second thing I want you to observe in this 7 days is your hunger. So I talked about this. It puts you on this roller coaster. As high as your blood sugar spikes is as low as it'll go. When it goes low, your body says, give me more food, give me sugar, because I need to get it up immediately. So after 7 days, giving up sugar, I want to know, are you less hungry? I think you'll notice you might even make better food choices. Number 3 that I want you to observe after the 7-day challenge is how well you move. So every time your blood sugar spikes from sugar, there is a possibility of a chronic inflammatory situation coming in, where you're just all this inflammation is gonna come flooding into your body, and now you're gonna feel stiff, your brain's gonna feel a little foggy, and you might notice when you sit down, stand up, I do this sometimes, like when I get up in the morning. If I get up and I'm like walking first thing out of my bed, and I'm like, oh God, like I am so stiff today. The first thing I think is, what did I eat yesterday? Is there something that I ate? Now, again, I struggle. I try so hard to not eat sugar. It does fall into my diet every once in a while, but it's always high quality. But still, sometimes even when I have maybe dessert at night, I might notice more stiffness the next day. So notice how you move. You might have better joint mobility because the inflammation comes down. Number 4, I want you to notice how you think. This goes back to the dopamine issue that we have with sugar, and this is really important. When you are dopamine addicted, you are never fully satisfied. So one of the ways of getting off of dopamine is start with what you eat. Change sugar and see if all of a sudden the other dopamine-rich things that you do just don't have that hold on you as much. Dopamine is sneaky. And the more dopamine-rich environments from, everything from maybe, something that you bought that gave you a dopamine rush, to a goal you're chasing, to, like I said, the text and the social media dopamine rush, all of that can change when you pull one dopamine-rich activity out of the equation, and it calms the whole dopamine system down. So if you stop eating sugar, all of a sudden now you're calming down that dopamine situation, and you might find you don't want to overeat as much. You might find that you're satisfied more in life. Like, let's look at how you're thinking after 7 days without sugar. And again, report back after 7 days. Okay, number 5, last one here, and then I've got a bonus that I really want to talk to you about. So number 5 is look at how your cravings change. So one of my favorite studies ever done on fasting was done on the every other day diet. And they took people who had horrible food habit. And what they did is they told them, eat whatever you want one day, and then the next day, fast all day. And then eat whatever you want, and then fast all day. Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on this link right here and enjoy. And so over the course of a year, they saw that their food habits changed. Now, this isn't fasting. This is a sugar fast, so it's a little bit of fasting. But what happens when you take the bad food out of the equation is the microbes in your gut stop sending you signals saying, hey, feed me, feed me, feed me. So when it comes to sugar, one of those microbes is a fungus called Candida. And when you actually are feeding Candida, it has a party in your gut. And all of a sudden, it'll tell you, feed me more sugar, feed me more sugar. So when you pull sugar out of your diet for 7 days, you starve that Candida out, and it stops talking to you and telling you to crave more sugar. Doesn't take long for this kind of switch to happen. It can be very, very quick. So notice, observe what you crave. So it's moods, it's hunger, it's how you move, it's how you think, and how you crave. And when you change all of that, now all these other results get so much either. Now your weight loss results, your sleeping, your happiness, it all changes because you pulled yourself off of a blood sugar roller coaster and a dopamine roller coaster with one major food. Now here's the bonus. Put in the comments if you're going to do the challenge. I really want to know. So here's the bonus. After 7 days, add sugar back in. Have a sugar-rich day. See what you think. How's it doing? So are you craving more sugar? How does your brain think? How do you move all of these things? Because sometimes food can be so sneaky and we don't really see what it's doing to us. And then we take it out and we might go, there's a lot of suffering. I didn't really notice anything. And then all of a sudden we add it back in and we go, oh my God, this is why I've been depressed. Oh my God, this is why I don't sleep right. We start to see its effects when we add it back in. So take it out for 7 days. First 3 days are going to be brutal. I'm cheering you on. Come back to this video. Look at me in the eye. I'm cheering you on. I know you have the capability to do that. I know you can do it. Be excited about what you accomplished. Notice what you notice. And then on day 8, add it back in. As always, I love entertaining and educating you all, and let me know if this video helps. And we're all in this health thing together, so I hope this information moves the needle in the direction that you want to go with your health. Know that I'm cheering you on. Okay, you trying to maximize your weight loss? Apple cider vinegar may be the key. Go check out this video where I show you exactly when, how, and why you want to use it for weight loss. Apple cider vinegar changes your microbiome of your gut. This good bacteria is going to help to bring your blood sugar down and make it so that you can switch over into the fat burning state.